This is CityCast Pittsburgh. I'm Megan Harris, and here's what Pittsburgh's talking about. Documentarian Rick Sebak has spent a whole career, 50 years, telling stories. And WQED, our PBS station here in Pittsburgh, is celebrating with a Summer of Sebak marathon. We want in on the fun. I talked to him a while back about his really incredible but kind of humble career, where he got all his ideas, what it's been like meeting so many of us, Pittsburghers, over the years, and also just what it means to call yourself that, to say you are from Pittsburgh, plus the one local story he is still dying to tell. I'm with a fella almost every single Pittsburgher would recognize in person, on TV, and now even via audio. Rick Sebak, I am so honored to talk to you.
I am honored to be here.
Can I show you something?
Yes, of course.
So I had been in Pittsburgh for just a couple of months, and a friend of mine was at the Allegheny Elks Lodge. You know it well, I think.
Yes.
And she shouted into my ear and said, "That's Rick. We have to go meet him." And I had no idea what she was talking about. But this is one of the very first photos of me taken in the city of Pittsburgh.
Wow. And I don't have my glasses on. Is there a date on it?
It is from September of 2013.
2013. It's 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Excellent.
What is it like to be so beloved that people run at you from across the room to take photos that you've never met?
Well, it doesn't happen that often, but I mean, and I want to knock on wood. I've never had a bad experience, you know, and I think I'm very lucky that way. So, you know, I am honored, and I just always feel like I'm the luckiest guy to have found this job 36 years ago.
Congratulations.
And
what a milestone.
I never mind people coming up to me. And it's funny, I always say, you know, people will say, "Can I take a picture?" Mm-hmm. And I say, I live by the Fred Rogers rule. Fred Rogers said, you never say no to a photo.
Really?
Yes. Now, he did not live into the age of the cell phones when everybody was taking pictures all the time.
The easy selfie, yeah.
Right. But I remember people weren't crazy about taking him to the airport because everybody at the airport had a camera back in the day. And so people would say, "Can I take your picture?" And that was because he, as a young man in Paris, saw a famous movie actress and everyone was taking her picture and he thought, I should ask her permission. And so he said, "Would you mind if I took your picture?" And she said, "I'd rather you not." And he said he felt so small, he just made a promise to himself. If anyone ever asks for my photo, I will say yes.
Well, do you have the ultimate Pittsburgh WQED picture, you and Fred Rogers?
Just a blurry, out of focus one. Because we both worked on the second floor of WQED and, you know, he was always there. It was the kind of thing that you didn't really do.
You don't take pictures of your coworkers that often.
Exactly. No, you are totally right. Yes.
You spend all this time with them. You make so many memories, and then you don't think to pick up the camera.
You couldn't be wiser. Yes.
Well, I want to talk about some of those 36 years. You know, I feel like so many of us got to know you by watching your documentaries on WQED. You've chronicled so many pieces of Pittsburgh's present and past. Was there anything that you look back on and you're like, you just still miss it, or you're still so proud of it? Favorites from those years?
No, because they're like my children. You know, I don't have any children, but it's hard to say my favorites. But if someone like twisted my arm, I would say that my most favorite things that I've done, I think, are hot dogs and sandwiches. I did
because you got to try them all.
No, because for the first time then, I had enough programs under my belt, I think, when we started to do them, that QED allowed me to pick my crew. Usually I was assigned a crew.
Oh, wow. That's so important to be able to, work with people that you trust and appreciate and have
love.
Fun with.
No, I mean...
if you're going to eat hot dogs all day, you really want to like them.
And television is such a totally... collaborative art. I get a lot of the credit, but, I rarely touch the camera. So it's just really, a time when you want to be with people that you want to work with.
Yeah.
And sometimes we weren't. And, But since then, it's been great. And that's quite a while ago. So
yeah. Do you have any white whales, things that you wanted to try to do here in Pittsburgh that maybe you haven't yet gotten the chance to do?
Well, I'll tell you that I've always wanted to do a show about Pittsburgh cemeteries. And one time I was at PBS and they asked me that question, is there a show you've always wanted to make? And I said, I'd like to do Pittsburgh cemeteries. And they said, ooh, we don't want Pittsburgh cemeteries, but we take national cemeteries. So I did a show called A Cemetery Special. But I just think that people want to know about the cemeteries near them.
Yeah.
Rather than across the country. It was great fun, and I learned massive amounts about cemeteries and, traditions.
What Pittsburgh cemetery are you most excited to focus on? Are there any that you really love?
I would we have Allegheny Cemetery in that national show because I think
good. I'm glad you snuck a Pittsburgh one in there.
Oh yeah, PBS said we know that you would do every story about Pittsburgh if you could, but Allegheny is one of the first places in America that actually called itself a cemetery. I don't know if that started in Boston. The word cemetery, cimetière from the French. Before that, they were just called burial grounds or churchyards.
Yeah.
I forget which show that is. Let me think. It's like 25 Things I Like About Pittsburgh. Andy Warhol's buried in Bethel Park. I love that. Yeah. I grew up in Bethel Park. And when I came for my job interview in 1987, Andy Warhol had just passed away. And I remember it was my younger brother said, they buried Andy Warhol here in Bethel Park. I said, no, they didn't. He goes, yes, they did. And so I went and I have pictures of me lying next to his fresh grave. No marker yet, but my brother knew where it was. So.
That was one of your first acts as a newly christened Pittsburgher?
Well, I grew up here. So, I was returning for a job interview at that point. I didn't have the job or anything.
You didn't even have the job yet?
No, I came for an interview. And I went to see
Valerie, did you lie next to Andy Warhol's grave when you came back?
I can't say that I did, no.
So, and there are little cemeteries all around that are always interesting. So, I'd be happy still to do that show.
Okay, you heard it here. Somebody make that happen for Rick.
Today's episode is sponsored by YWCA Greater Pittsburgh. They're currently accepting nominations for the 2026 Equity Awards, which honor community members who support their vision of a world where everyone has equitable access to professional and personal opportunities free from injustice. There are 5 award categories: Ally, Bridge Builder, Creative Arts and Innovation, Emerging Leader, and Heroine. Nominations are going to be accepted through Friday, July 24th. YWCA Greater Pittsburgh also encourages self-nominations and especially wants to recognize women of color. So if you or someone you know has been stepping up for your community, this is the perfect opportunity to honor that work. And honorees will be recognized at the Equity Awards Luncheon on Thursday, November 19th at the Westin Pittsburgh. Learn more about the awards categories and submit your nomination today at ywcapgh.org.
Something we've been talking about here at CityCast Pittsburgh, kind of along this line of milestones, is what it is that makes a Pittsburgher a true Pittsburgher. So, there was a joke on the team here for a while that you had to be here for at least 10 years and then have to go through some kind of naturalization ceremony. Like if you were not lucky enough to be born a Pittsburgher, what might you have to do? I'm now celebrating 10 years here in the city. So I've reached number 1. I'm curious what you think. What are the rites of passage, maybe, that a non-naturalized Pittsburgher must achieve to be able to call themselves one of you?
Wow, that is a really good question. Just based on my wanderings this morning, you have to have a breaded oyster at the Oyster House.
Okay.
Immediately I think of food.
No, I like that. The food ones are fun to check off the list. That's a good bingo card.
Yes. I like people to get up to Troy Hill. If someone comes to town, I like to take them to Troy Hill and see the relics. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
I know the cemetery.
No, there's the church. And then next to the church, there's a small chapel that has the world's largest collection of holy relics.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't done that one yet. It's on my short list.
Yeah.
I have climbed Rialto, which I think is worth a few bonus points.
That's worth a lot of bonus points, yes. Boy, what else do you have to do to become a Pittsburgher? Wander across a bridge on foot.
Okay. With a destination in mind or just for fun?
It could be just for fun. You have to go to Rachel Carson's house. It's still there where she grew up.
Where is that?
It's in Springdale.
Can I show you our list?
Yes. And maybe that'll give me some other ideas.
So sit behind home plate at a Pirates game.
Okay.
Eat fries on a salad. Some of these are quite easy, but.
Eat fries on a salad. Yeah, I think that's faded a bit. Or maybe I've just been going to the wrong places. But I remember my associate producer, Nancy Jean Coates, now Coates Greenwood, when she left Pittsburgh, I think she went to D.C. and she said she was in a thing. And the guy said, she said, I'll have a salad and no French fries. And the guy went, it's a salad. There are no French fries on the salad. She goes, I'm sorry, I'm from Pittsburgh.
Yep. Making or taking, depending on your interpretation, a Pittsburgh left.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. That's just sort of kindness.
Yeah. Well, do you think you make a Pittsburgh left, or do you give a Pittsburgh left, or do you take a Pittsburgh left?
You can do both. Yeah. Sometimes you can just be bold and cut in front of the other line, or sometimes you'll get a wave. And either one is good.
We had a few nefarious ones, like feel too old to be out after dark in the South Side.
That's pretty easy, I think.
It is for us.
It is for me.
Get pooped on at the National Aviary.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Give directions based on what used to be there. I feel like you would be especially good at that one.
I can do that, yeah, especially where the Isleys used to be.
Ride a funicular for practical transportation.
That is so funny that you would call it a funicular, because someone said, you can't be from Pittsburgh and call that a funicular. Although that is the real term for it. We just have always called them inclines.
Yeah. Either way, I'm fine with it.
And that one is a crucial one. But, when I was in high school, I was a foreign exchange student to Rio de Janeiro. And I lived with a family. And my Brazilian brothers, Edu and Kiko, Edu was my age and Kiko was a little bit younger. They had never been to the Christ statue.
Oh, wow.
And they took me like the last day I was there, and
but it was new to them too.
It was new to them too. And then when he came and lived with my family here, Edu, and that's the first time I went on the incline, because, I'd grown up here. Sometimes when you grow up here, you don't bother with those things. They're there. But, who cares?
It's so easy to forget that stuff.
But when I came back, I just realized, oh, my God, this city has such great texture and history and, unusual traditions and, just so distinctive an aura that you don't always find in a city. Not to make anyone mad, but I always say, if you really want to love Pittsburgh, go spend a couple days in Houston or Dallas.
Well, we are very glad that you did come back 36 years ago.
Yes. Me too. How could I complain?
Well, I definitely can't complain. And you'll have to let us know if there's anything else that, comes to mind for you for this whole Pittsburgh rites of passage conversation.
I'm just fascinated by the idea that you think there should be a ceremony that, makes you a Pittsburgher. That's really good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think it's a good city, and it has lots of problems, but everywhere does. And, I'm happy to celebrate it and to, keep trying to make it maybe a little better.
Thank you so much, Rick, for talking to us on CityCast Pittsburgh.
I hope this wasn't too long.
No, it was great. It was so much fun.
Excellent. No, thank you.
That is all for today here on CityCast Pittsburgh. Tonight, WQED is playing Sebak's Flea Market documentary and To Market to Buy a Fat Pig. We will link WQED's schedule if there's a specific documentary you want to make sure you catch. You can also support us by becoming a CityCast Pittsburgh neighbor. All the details and the perks are at membership.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow with more from around the city. We'll talk to you soon.
no one can love a national show the way Pittsburghers love a Pittsburgh show. And so I love the Pittsburgh shows probably the best.